Greetings, fellow Stationeers, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to episode 23 of Stationeers Europa. I'm going to make a few more shoots first, actually. I could do a stacker, but I just don't care. I don't tend to use stackers because I don't value them. Given that I'm playing by myself and I have very little need for mass printing. But a stacker allows you to stack things up to a certain amount, like, let's say 50, before shooting it out. I just didn't want all the pipes to be shoved into one corner, because that's actually a good way to rupture your suit. You can get hurt that way. If I printed them up the way they were, it would build up like a cluster of pipes here, and then eventually it would just send them flying, like, you know, yeah, whatever. I'm sure you can understand that. So this now has it shoving to the middle of the room where it's not going to, like, build up enough pipes to murder me. So the idea here is to run, and maybe I'll shrink this down. It's to run, should it be a color? Nah, yellow's fine. I don't really care. The other issue is I don't want to bump my head on it. Because that would be annoying. So this will be the passive vent system that you all voted on. Or some of you voted on. Equalize the temp. And it looks like I need to do another run of something hot soon. Because it's getting a little cold in the main base. But when this is fully built, it should be very easy to have the entire base hit the same temperature. Yeah, the ferns died. Have the entire base hit the same temperature without too much effort, because the heat will be spread. It's sort of like yeah, like a heat spreader. All right, that's enough for now. I'm sure I'm going to need more pipes, but just a few at a time. Now, the real caveat, or the real trick with this, is how to get it all the way up to the penthouse. Probably going where the wires are behind, but that's going to be a pain. So starting it here is probably fine. And then we just run this all the way over. Hey, Stromsy, thanks for the resub. How'd you... Oh. You got the follower emotes. That's okay. See, now I just have to go over to your channel and, like, tip you again. So we're in a tipping war. I see how it is. How little respect you have for me. I'm just kidding. Thank you. It's been fun watching all those PlayStation games on your channel. Seeing that I do not own one. And probably won't for the foreseeable future. God, so many pipes are required. Please no. I mean, I could buy one, but the thing is, I don't play story games on my Twitch channel, so people don't watch that stuff, or at least they're not watching my channel for that stuff. So it doesn't really... If I got a PlayStation, it wouldn't be for work. It'd be for pleasure, and, you know, I'm already pretty busy, so it's gonna have to be a no for me, dog. Oh, it's pretty chilly in here. -50 and dropping. And it looks like the airflow is like super cold up there, so maybe I even put piping up there. And then what I'm going to have to do is bring steel frames and stick some frames so I can put passive vents throughout this pipe network. And then once I have the pipe network built, I'll add some radiators to the pipe network and then some passive vents so that air can passively enter and exit the pipe network. And then the radiators will help to equalize with the ambient temperature. And that way, the whole base becomes, you know, one big... I mean, because my base is like a giant L shape, it shrinks the L shape, or I don't know how to describe it, but yeah. It works via piping magic to bring good, nice, warm temperatures for all you fuzzy wuzzies. So it's a really cool project. Who proposed that again? Because this is a neat one. I mean, I had thought of doing it this way and just nixed it because of the manual labor required, but then you all were like, do it! And I was like, okay, I guess I'll make a mile-long pipe. Have ever played Satisfactory? I have. I actually don't really like those style of games, though. Just a personal preference. I'd like Factorio, Satisfactory. I just don't care for them. So, I have played them, but I would never, ever, ever play them in my free time for fun. Because they're just not my style. Something about, like, the game not having room for creative solutions, I think is a problem for me. Yeah, so I've played Dyson Sphere and games like that as well, yeah, obviously. But games that don't make room for creative solutions, games that are basically very formulaic, where all problems are solved from a perfectionist standpoint, all problems are solved the same way, just aren't my thing. Because then most of the game is just copying and pasting ideal designs from other people, which is a big snooze fest for me. Why are you complaining? What is your deal? Oh, filter is burned out. Probably the pollutant filter. So I'll have to make some filters for that, too. It's something that bothers me with this game, the way filters work, is not the volume of gas that goes through the filter, but like how many minutes the filter has filtered gas. So... Oh, it wasn't pollutant, it was volatiles. I'll replace both filters, though. So, like, if you have to filter 100 moles of pollutant, let's say, in Stationeers, if you shove 100 moles of pollutant through a filter all in 1 second, it uses like 1% of a filter. If you shove 100 moles of pollutant over the course of like 15 minutes, it uses 100% of the filter. It filtered the same amount of gas, but like one way it used 1% of the filter and the other way used completely all of the filter. And that's just the way the filters work. For whatever reason. What am I doing? That was volatile, so pollutant. Yeah, you were surprised by my answer with that, huh? Yeah. Yeah, games like that just don't... They don't... To me, they feel like they don't have room for creativity. Just don't interest me as a result. Any game that could be min-maxed formulaically like that doesn't appeal to me for that reason. Ugh, that hits my head. This is going to be really tricky to set up where it doesn't, like, bonk me. Hope the wind picks up, because my batteries are kind of low. What's got me liking this one? It's not formulaic like that. It's very sandbox and open, and there aren't one universal solutions for problems. So I'm probably setting up the atmosphere in this base in a way that no player has ever set up atmosphere in their base before, because of how strange and not typical I'm doing it. I don't have atmospherics, not formal atmospherics. I don't have filtration. I just am, like, pumping in air from Europa and putting it through, like, passive vents and radiators and ovens and, like, bringing it up to breathable temps, which is strange. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I like it, is, like, you can do things your own way, and it's not wrong, it's just different. Whereas in a game like Factorio, you know, if you build spaghetti, everyone's gonna go, why didn't you do main bus? And it's like, 'cause it's boring and I've done it 100 times, like, you know. I would even have that critique to games that you wouldn't even consider to be formulaic, like Stardew Valley, right? Like, if you want to make the most amount of money in Stardew Valley, there's one way to do it. And then you have to follow that, like, meta, which is a pretty strange concept, if you ask me. But, like, even games like that, like economy-based games, can be eventually spreadsheeted and then copied and pasted into oblivion. And the games like that just don't tickle my fancy. Stardew even having a meta, it goes against its own narrative. I know, and that's the funny thing, is like, games like that, you can, how to explain, you can distill the game into its most efficient form to the point where it becomes its own poison. Does that make sense? Much the way that, like, you know, yeah, like, too much of a good thing can be bad again. I don't know. I think you guys get what I'm trying to tug at this point. So did I like Planet Crafter? I really didn't. I mean, I think it was like a fun little game, but, like, nah, didn't appeal to me. Same reason why Stationeers, or not Stationeers, Satisfactory and Factorio didn't, because Planet Crafter is basically Satisfactory Terraformer. That's, in 2 words, that's how I would describe the game. Satisfactory Terraformer, and I think that's, like, dead on. Where, yeah, it's very, very formulaic. It's fun if you like games like that. I just happen not to. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those games, just not my thing. Can't I do that within a game? No. Not necessarily. Like, take RimWorld, for instance. There are ways to play RimWorld more efficiently and less efficiently, but there's no end goal, right? So it doesn't really matter how you play. If you don't want to turn everyone into human leather hats, it doesn't matter, because, like, you know, there's multiple ways to win, and the ways you get to win, there is no formula to get there. Build a kill box, don't build a kill box. Use ranged weapons, don't use ranged weapons. Tame animals, slaughter animals. Ignore all animals. Like, there are so many forks and so many paths that every time you play can be different. Whereas if you try to play Factorio or Satisfactory, every game is very similar to every other game because there is kind of one main path to the victory, right? So you play Satisfactory 15 times, and 14 of those times feels remarkably similar to one another. Whereas even in a game like this, where, you know, it's somewhat formulaic, you could build 15 different types of bases that are very distinct from one another and don't feel like one another. You know, if I wanted to carve out like a cave in the ice and slap an airlock on it and live in a cave like a troll while building a space rocket to obtain materials from the moons of Jupiter, I could do that. I've never done that, but, like, that would be a viable way to play. That would feel nothing at all like what I'm doing here. And that's the sort of the variety, I guess, is for another analogy, I feel like games like Satisfactory and Factorio, to me, are like pasta with no sauce. It doesn't have the spices, it doesn't have the flavor, it's just straight pasta. And yeah, some people like straight pasta or pasta with butter. Whereas, like, RimWorld is a full dish. Trolls live under the bridge. Yeah, I mean, you could design your game like that, though, is my point. Because this game allows you to be very creative, whereas Satisfactory doesn't have a lot of creativity. It's just like, I think another issue is I went to school for stuff like that. I, as part of my industrial technology degree from a bachelor's program, my degree program was sort of production management, production control. That was part of the degree that I went through, which is to say, if those games feel like work to me. Like, some of the undergraduate degree that I went through was like the production management and control of production lines, which is Factorio, you know? So it just feels like work. I suppose the means to the end don't feel justified is another big one. Like, in Factorio, you're trying to build a rocket. In Satisfactory, you're trying to build a rocket. In, like, Dyson Sphere, you're trying to build a Dyson Sphere. And then you do it, and you're like, cool, but, like, all the win conditions are the same. Every rocket, every Dyson Sphere, they're all going to be basically identical to one another. So every time you win the game, it's like, all right, I won. Exactly the same way I won every single time I played this game. Now you want pasta? Sorry! That wouldn't be my fault. Alright, I probably only need somewhere in the realm of like 40 more pipes to make this work. And then what I'm going to need is some steel frames to be able to put the passive vents and radiators down. I probably actually don't need a lot of radiators in this. I'm just going to use whatever radiators I have left, like all 2 of them. So steel frames, huh? There we are. How many steel frames do I already have? I have 15 steel sheets, so that's actually a pretty good amount of sheets. And then I have 4 steel frames, so I'm going to need maybe like 6 more steel frames. Putting 10 passive vents on this network is probably going to be enough, I'd imagine. Cheers. Hey, Jackie Jack. Cheers, and thanks for the sub. But in terms of game preference, it's just one of those, like, it's like music or food. Either you like it or you don't. So there's certain games that I just deplore, like sports games, you know, playing football as a video game or driving around as a video game. Will never and has never appealed to me, ever in my life, nor will it ever. So those factory-style games, they just don't appeal to me for whatever reason. You know, at the end of the day, I can try to analyze why I don't like them, but I just don't. Right? Side-scroller games don't really appeal to me either. Even the ones that are, like, magically well done. They just don't tickle my fancy. Nothing wrong with that.
Temperature critical. Temperature low.
You feel that way about RimWorld, but then mods open up new possibilities? Even without the mods, if you have the DLCs, there is a lot to do. Because RimWorld's also one of those games that, like, winning isn't necessarily... isn't really all that necessary to enjoy the game. Whereas, without a victory condition for, like, Factorio or Stationeers, what are you even doing? Right? Like, if you're not trying, like, in Satisfactory, if you're not trying to launch the rocket, there's nothing to do. There's no game left if you're not working towards the goal. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, in RimWorld, there is a game left if you're not trying to win. You can still play it, right? Like, whereas in Factorio, if you're not trying to, like, do the win condition, you've got nothing. That's it. It's a singular goal, which is why there's not a lot of paths to victory. I can't imagine trying to play like Satisfactory if I wasn't working towards the next milestone of the rocket project, right? Because what would there even be left to do? All right, I underestimated how far up this goes, but I'm pretty close actually. The weirdness is going to be trying to get the pipe through this cube here, but I would say maybe 30 more. Oh god, I'm dropping fast. Yeah, I suppose there's ways to play, but being honest, what percentage of people that play through, like, let's say, Satisfactory are doing things that aren't working towards the end goal? Like, 5% of players, 2% of players, 0% of like, nearly less than 1% of players, right? Whereas in RimWorld, I would say a very high percentage aren't even trying to, like, build a rocket and go to space. That's the minority of players, not the majority. I'm not trying to attack the way you play the games. I'm trying to explain from sort of a game mechanic standpoint why the two games feel very different from one another. RimWorld can have a story. You're not building up some sort of story with Satisfactory or Factorio. There's no story there. It's not a story game. There's no... You can layer on a narrative, but one doesn't exist in the game without the player artificially implanting it. So how much time do I have left? How about this? If you have next projects for me, because I'm one and down on this one pretty quick, suggest them now. You brought RimWorld because of the ice challenge? That's awesome. I have a lot of fun pushing games to its limit like that. Alright, 31 pipes should be fine. Let me just get the pipes down, and then I'll worry about the frames and the pass events. But if done right, if this works the way I think it should, and if done right, it should equalize the temperature of this entire tunnel network very quickly. Because the air will be able to freely pass through passive vents and then equalize into the pipe and then dump out into any other passive vent quite efficiently, I think. Oh, you liked Android Sanctuary? Awesome. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that one too. I'm sort of interested if anyone will suggest another Android Tiers scenario for me to try out. It hasn't been suggested since. Well, no, that's not true. Someone suggested sort of the inverse of robots going evil, trying to kill off humanity, but it didn't get voted up. So if you have a scenario idea, feel free to propose it, because, you know, my suggestion, the inbox for proposing your own ideas is actually open for June already. I think what I'll do is, instead of having a frame here, I'll just put, like, floor panels or something. Because I really don't need a steel frame in that spot. It's still vacuum sealed without... Cool. So we're up. Part of me actually wants to put, like... Is there a... Because I don't really like the whole... No. There's no, like, half blocks, unfortunately. There, I'll do it like that. So now I could just not use the elevator. I'm going to totally break myself, but... Oh, God. Oh, my God. I wish I had, like, shell boots. You know what I mean? That'd be awesome. So, have we taken the... Whoa, we still have not taken the H2 and X out. But, it will happen pretty quick with this project coming to a close. I missed a pipe? Did I? Well, I'll figure out if I missed the pipe once I start installing the passive vents anyway. I'll just have to print one more up. Andres, you gotta suggest projects that are to be built. Not... It's not a way to highlight your text. Which you keep doing. So, a few pass events, maybe 10 pass events should work. So they're going to be a little annoying to install. And I might need some insulated vents or insulated piping to be able to install them properly, so that I'm not combining the vents with outside temps, which would be a problem. So then I'm also going to want some insulated piping. I don't need a network analyzer right now, so I'll put that away. Oh, steel. Duh. So here, for instance, because this passive vent is attached to the window, I wouldn't want the pipe absorbing any European gas. So you can actually see the air rushing into this pipe here to fill it up, because it's going to equalize the pressure between the base and that vent. All right, I'll get about 18 of these, and I think we'll be good. At least the batteries have bounced back from me leaving these on too long. And that's the last one.
Temperature critical.
Base is pretty cold.
Temperature low. Temperature critical. Temperature
All right, so that's the first one. If we take a look at the pressure in here, yeah, it's identical to the base. So then, periodically, we'll just have checkpoints. So here will be the first checkpoint. I might need some more normal pipe too. We'll see if that's something I need. Come on. And you can see the temperature in this spot immediately balanced with the pipe. Oh, that's the wrong shape. It's interesting that those, like, triangular shapes don't require welding, though. Oh, is that... It's another one of those triangular shapes. It just didn't look like that from down here. And it shot immediately up 10 degrees Celsius right when I installed that. Yeah, they're venting instead of radiating. Yep. Yes, indeed. I will also install radiators too, but passive vents allow the air to actually move around physically, which is going to be faster than radiators by a long shot. That way, it's just a instantaneous circularization. And actually, truth be told, it exploits, like, game mechanics of the game, because the network of the pipe is instantaneous. That's why it works so well and so quickly. But I'm fine exploiting game mechanics. Boop! 30-degree difference immediately as soon as I install. And then once it's all done, if I heat up one end of this network, all ends of the network equally heat up, kind of at the same speed. Which is why it's so useful. Exploiting mechanics. That's called engineering. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense, though, in, like, real-life physics. But I don't really care. Because when air goes in this vent, that air is everywhere all at once. It's everywhere within this pipe all at once, which is why it equalizes so quickly. Oh! Yep. Oh well. Had an extra one. I might need more than this, though. More, vents and whatnot. We'll see how far I get. I am monkeying around with my inventory pretty... quite a lot. So I'll probably want an extra passive enter or two, or more than two. Now, setting it up so it works here is going to be a head scratcher. I'm not really sure how to do this. Oh, maybe here? Maybe like that? I'm not sure how to make this work. Yeah, I mean, that kind of works. It's ugly, but it functions. I'm just going to need more passive vents and pipes. And then to make sure that this is dug out proper. There. So we'll do one here. Oh boy. It's perilous. And then I'm out of material, but I'll keep going up here. Maybe one in this spot. As long as I don't dig so far that I like vent out to space, it'll be fine. Alright, here's one. And then the last one, I could have one here as well. So we need, how to make that not ugly? Let me figure this out. Maybe if a passive vent was along the wall or something. You know, I don't really care. I'll just stick it on the floor. It's good enough. All right, let me get, how many? 1 passive vent. 2, 3, 4 more passive vents. Got it. So one thing you should notice is all the corridors where I am should have roughly the same temperature and pressure. So it's all roughly around -65, 70 C, because these passive vents are equalizing it very, very effectively. Yep, and that's true. So the project has worked. I just need to finish it off and then heat, and we'll be good. Sorry that the stream hiccuped. Just Twitch things. Now there is a exchanger, right? A heat gas exchanger. So maybe I'll make a heat gas exchanger to heat this pipe. I think it works the way I think it works, where it exchanges the heat between 2 separate networks. Because one of the things is I wouldn't want to use this newly minted pipe as a furnace pipe, because if I did that, the outgas of the furnace, which is toxic to me, would then fill the base, right? So that's not how to do it. So I think a heat gas exchanger is probably the way to finish off this project. So we're so very close. There's that. Puppy treats. Hey, dude. Yoda thanks you. I could probably put it here and it would have the same effect. Oh, placement's blocked. Okay, never mind. Plop. And see, the temperature immediately equalized. So now the whole base is roughly -60 C, and let's get a heat gas exchanger to warm it all up. Oh, I'm gonna totally die if I let her rip. Oh, Jesus. Happy Floofball. He is very happy. Okay. Current priority. Build a heat exchanger and warm the base. peeking into the void. Alright, maybe I'll put the heat exchanger here because there's a lot of room to build in this spot. Something like that. I also need some water. I'll hold off. Maybe I'll survive long enough to get water. Oh. I was losing power for a second. So, kit heat exchanger. 4 gold. So it exchanges the heat between 2 pipes, 2 pipe networks. I'll install it here because I'll add some frames around here and have a platform to work on. And now the goal is to do it before I dehydrate to death. Cheers. Six should be enough. How many sheets do I got? 6. Perfect. All right, that's a pretty good platform to work on, I think. And this also allows me to use this cable here, this heavy cable for the... Well, actually, the heat exchanger won't require power. We'll stick this... I like how it can float. Like, it's not even concerned about physics. So I'll stick that right here. Output 2, input 2. Oh, so it's left, right. Ah, I got it. I like input, output 2, output, input. What psychopath named these? Jesus. Jesus. All right. I'll have to interpret that as I will, I suppose. It's funny. What's with the big supervillain looking laser machine? It transfers power over distance. So they don't have to run a long cable. But then you guys voted for me to run a long pipe, so it didn't save me a lot of effort. But it sends power from here and then receives it at the end of the tunnel. So I think it's left, right. I can't tell. I am going to save because the game doesn't make it clear. I just have to guess how the heat exchanger works because their naming convention is horrible. It doesn't have 2 inputs and 2 outputs. It has something. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't know. So I'll connect this side and see if it works. And then connect the other side. It might end up killing me because of their naming, their horrible naming conventions. I'm right, it's left, right. Okay. It would be great if they had input 1, input 2, output 1, output 2, but they don't. Because, you know, that would make too much sense. And shame on them for making too much sense. Alright, so a few more pipes and I'll have that set up. And then I'll move one of the furnaces to be the input heat. Thank you for watching Stationeers Europa, which originally streamed live on Twitch, May 10th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind that the series has since ended, and I also played with backseat gaming tags off. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams, so you don't miss one. If you'd like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com or the description of this video also have a link to Discord, a gaming community which we can stay in touch and you can ask me questions in real time. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell.